Damn it. There's always got to be something to mess up the night. Turns out, I was wondering why no one was showing up. That damn stream was unlisted. Oh, well. Nope, that's not going to work either. Hey everybody, yeah, sorry about that. I inadvertently set the stream to unlisted. It's kind of weird that I would do that, but it happened anyway. And that's why no one got notifications half an hour ago. What is interesting though is it did show up in my playlist for streams as an upcoming stream. So yeah, bit of interesting accidental discovery there. Hey Paul, welcome. Good to see you found it today. I do apologise about yesterday, Paul. I saw your message there and I was like, ah, shucks. Anyway, so I thought I'd run a new stream for you today. And everybody else. Hey laptop, Pedro, what the hell? Pedro, you're supposed to be living it up. And you're spending your time here. I don't know what to say. Okay, what the hell is this stuff? Update on yesterday's little adventure with the repair. It turns out the reason why I couldn't identify the liquid is that discussing back and forth with the owner, and they had used damp rid to try and remove some of the liquid at some point. And I think some particles of that damp rid got into the chassis, of course, and the bulk component of damp rid is calcium chloride. So it's, you know, very high mineral sort of effect, I say. So that explains why it was a very strange substance and somewhat liquid, somewhat viscous and things like that, and why it behaved differently with the RPA. So yeah, calcium chloride was the issue. Hey Defpom, good to see you. Sorry to hear about that, Paul, with being under the weather. That's not good. Harold, Christian, hey, Matt Chalk. Yeah, we're a little bit wet up here, Matt. It's still ongoing rain. It's not letting up. We're pretty fortunate here that we don't really have a flood issue. Oh, crikey, it's out of hand. I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like. It's, yeah, a little wild. Let's see, sorry, I just got schematics. Okay, so we are down here. Townsville's up here. So that's the 128. Yeah, we've just got this cluster of rain that doesn't want to leave. It's sticking around. It's been like that for a week or two now. It's a lot of rain. And what the problem is now is that we're getting to the saturation point. So when I go out in the yard, you can see that the ground has said, that's it, I've had enough rain, I'm not taking any more. So now we've got the problem where the cars are going to start sinking into the ground, trees are going to topple over, all that sort of stuff, just simply because it's just a great big bog now. Hey Ed Boss, David, let us repair. Yeah, definitely not rice starch. Now, where is this machine? Okay, here we go. We've got 2141. At least I think it is. Yes, 2141. Standard policy of these, of course, is we don't power them up. Same for the 1990s. You just open them up, give them an inspection, see what's going on before you do anything further. If you power them up, you may lose the last opportunity you have to recover the data. Now, it doesn't matter if the person who sent it to you said, hey, we tried powering it a few times and whatever, and it didn't come up, or it was 5 volts only, things like that. The point is, you don't power it up. Just inspect it, and then decide what to do from there. At least that way you're not stuck with the guilt of thinking, oh, maybe I lost the last opportunity to make it work. Hey Samuel, welcome, Thunderbird. Yes, more rain forecast. Okay, so that's drifted off, that's interesting. I've got a screw rattling around here. That looks like an iPhone tri-head screw, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not going to bring my tweezers to this speaker because these speakers have incredibly powerful magnets. And I can guarantee you bring a tweezer to it, you're going to get a gouge mark in that diaphragm. It's you can't. You think you're going to hold the tweezers hard enough, but you don't. And yep, sure enough, it's a tri-wing. So slurp that in from somewhere. We've got little dust balls over here. Overall, the surface isn't too bad. We're going to disconnect the battery, remove the battery entirely from the equation, and we're going to do some quick checks. Hey Joey, Mr. 100,000. Joey Does Tech just clocked over to 100,000 last night. Didn't have a pizza party, unfortunate. Pizza's always good, but yeah, you can't win everything. What have we got there? 500. That's a weird value actually. Normally you get 800, 900, 500 there as well. 137. Okay. Okay, so that's normally what I expect, 800, but on this rail. So 500 is very strange, and it's very rapid to give me 500 rather than slowly filling up. Short. Okay. So we have storage NANDs on the left flipped over. So this side and this side. So we've got a double wing of storage. We've definitely got a short on this side. And we may have some kind of misbehavior on this side. So we've got two things at least to look at. And once again, like I said, good thing we didn't power up. Let's get this thing disassembled. Are there actual good ceramic tweezers? You know, I did buy some way back, and personally I didn't care for them. I found I had to be far too gentle with them. And the ones that I had, the points weren't really that great. So yeah, I just ended up going back to good old high grade steel. Even titanium ones I found sucked. The problem I had with the titanium ones was that they were actually kind of too springy, too spongy. So they may be very light and durable, but they didn't have that rigidity of the metal tweezers, which is a bit of a disappointment. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, I'm going around the circles here. Hey Serge. Alright. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed here. I had the warning, or the what do you call it, scheduled stream for about half an hour going, and unfortunately because it was unlisted, nobody got the notification, which is a bit annoying. And Joey, that's why it didn't show up on the front page, because it did show up when I went into the live stream playlist, so that all things are explained. Hey MacBook Fixer. Anyway, that's my personal experience with ceramic tweezers. Maybe there are better ones out there. I think the other problem can be if they are ceramic tips on a sort of plastic-like handle, then you can't get that plastic warm. You also have the problem of the handles themselves deforming under pressure. So even though you got these fantastic ceramic tips, you can't get them to line up properly, or as soon as you put a bit of pressure they slide off from each other. Things like that. Just annoying stuff that kind of makes you feel like, what did I spend the money on this for? It could be just that I'm too much of a brute when holding tweezers. You know, I used to always be in trouble with the teacher for holding my pencil and my pen far too tight. Like I have a death grip on my pencil and pen. Apparently, the teacher's supposed to be able to just walk past and like pull the pencil out of your fingers. That did not happen with me. It was like, I will die before I let this pencil go. Even when I was trying to not hold it aggressively, it was still too aggressive. It might have something to do with the fact that I'm left-handed, I don't know. Probably not. Oh, right, yeah, Joe, yeah, I don't have Discord showing on this particular machine, so yeah, I would have missed that. Yes, learning every day. Hopefully things can pick up the pace again now. The experiment was done, it didn't quite work out, and that's okay. It's not like, yeah, this is not my bread and butter career kind of thing. So I can afford to be a little bit slack about such mistakes. Come on, how'd you come? In bad news for today, one of my beloved 27-inch Dell Ultra Sharp monitors has developed a pinstripe on the left-hand side. It is definitely the monitor because it shows up even when it's about to go into idle mode. So it's not showing any display data or anything like that. So while the screen is on, even just to say shutting down, it shows me that vertical stripe, and it sort of comes and goes a little bit, so somehow there's a bit of damage on the panel. I'm not happy about that because it's only about 2.5 years old. I bought them as a pair, so I have my primary and my secondary monitor, and if I can't work out something, I'm just going to have to buy another pair of screens. I'll probably go and get the LG have some 32-inch 4K screens, some very nice ones. But it's still $1,500. It's like, But it is work. So obviously I claim that on tax expenses and things like that. Normally I don't have a problem with Dell monitors. It's probably the first Dell monitor I've had that has died earlier than I would expect. So I'm not really holding any ill will. It's just more of like, damn it. And the fact that I bought them as a pair, the reason why I bought them as a pair is so that they would tend to have the same color rendering and all that sort of stuff when they're next to each other. You got this problem on the right side of your 2709. 2709 is that's not the ultra sharp one, is it? That's the slightly different model, I think. Anyway, regardless, the point is, it's died in a way I'm not happy about. Come on, out you come. Out you come. There we go. Oh yeah, there's some nice little dust bunnies there. Kick that around like on a soccer field. It's still under warranty, but I don't know if they're going to cover it under warranty. And then I don't know what sort of torture they're going to put me through. It's supposedly under warranty until August. Be nice if they say, look here's a replacement. Just keep that one. That'd be really nice, because then I'd have 3. And I can live with the stripe if it's not my primary monitor. Thank you, Paul. Where is my brush? Once again, we do the workshop dance. We wonder where I'll put my various implements. Come on. Seriously? So where does the brush go? It's like a mystery. I need to just put it on one of those retractable wires. And so as soon as I let go of it, it goes back to the wall. Got into the M-Equip. Oh yes, got plenty of the M series MacBooks, M1, M2, a couple of the M3s, but not all of them. So yeah, we're doing fine with board views and schematics for those. I do have one I would like to get, the very latest 15-inch M3 or M4 Air. I need that because I've got a rapid cycling going on, and I can't find it. It doesn't show up on the thermal camera. Yeah, on stage it kind of gets like that, doesn't it? Just need it for everything. Or you need some sort of Harry Potter type stuff where you can just like wave your wand and it retrieves the item you're after. Christian, yours has done pretty good for 16 years. Okay, we've got a whole... Yeah, we've got a whole cluster of damage here, and the thing that worries me most here, straight off the bat, is there's a glossy deformation on the voltage regulator. You can see that. That's it. You see that bulge? That there? So what that means is that cooked itself. I'm going to blame maybe that cap or that, which means these are most likely very, very dead. And we've got a lot of damage here. This thing has done its best to stay alive in spite of the environment that it has been kept in, and it has finally given up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this off, see what the resistance is, probably take that one off. We're just going to work our way back, but I'm almost dead set certain the NAND's going to be dead. We'll see. Sometimes you can get extremely lucky and have a little bit of a Christmas miracle. But the fact that the VREG itself has done that, what that means is that it's just gotten really hot. And it usually gets hot when it's done something bad. I think maybe 1 out of every 10 or 20 that have this kind of failed VREG appearance, yeah, sort of like 5 to 10% maybe actually survive, but by and large they're dead. If it's still shorted after I remove this, then I'll go chasing the caps. And if we end up with resistance, anything above about 2 ohms, it's most likely a NAND then. Here we go. 1.6. It's kind of borderline between NAND versus... So I could almost say this cap might be at fault. It would be an absolute miracle if it is. Hey Jason, welcome back. Yeah, I just flipped channels around. I kind of made a stuff up with the announcement tonight. I inadvertently left it on unlisted, and that's why nobody got notified. Come on. Okay, fingers crossed that we're actually going to get something better than 1.2. But hopefully we don't get something like 70, which will definitely mean NANDs are dead. Ah, crap. 1.4, we're not going anywhere quick here. Hey, Static Short and Antonio. You're sending a 2141 tomorrow? Great. So 2141's dying everywhere. So at this point, our chances are dropping very quickly. Yeah. These really shouldn't be a problem because they are the PP bus side. So extremely unlikely they've got any influence. Well, they have no influence. But I'm just removing them anyway. And we'll take this other one. Now there's plenty of more caps on the 2v5 NAND output. So there's hope yet, but not a huge amount. We just got to work our way through. But yeah, that 2 ohm level does not give me a lot of confidence. Initially it seems like you think, oh yeah, you know, it might not be too bad. Because you think, oh well, that, you know, caps can short to that kind of level, no problem. But more often than not, it's just a really badly beaten up NAND. Okay, that's a phenomenal amount of flux. That's enough flux to keep me going for a few weeks. So we're going to get rid of all that. Way too much flux. And now we've got ancillary hairs there. Hey Teresa, welcome. So really from here it's either going to be a case of us explicitly proving that yes, it is the NANDs that are at fault, or fixing it. And I do like to put a little bit of effort into trying to prove that it is definitely the NANDs. I mean, obviously the fastest way is to inject some power and see if they warm up. What I have against that is that, you know, it is somewhat invasive. And I'd rather find a shorter cap than push my luck. Yeah, 2, yep. Hey Mikhail, hey Neo. This is not turning out to be too much fun, is it? And we've probably got a 0v9 short there as well, or getting close to it. That's 3v3. These are 0.9, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea what that is. These are PP bus, they're 2v5. I think they're mostly 2v5. So the problem we're running into right now is that the caps that are looking ugly are not the ones on the areas that we want. Oh yeah, Jason, sorry, thank you for reminding me about that. Yes, I did actually get that. And I saw you had it upside down. I guess the text itself is the only thing that's upside down though. That's how you know I actually did look at the photo. Let's see, what are we after? We're after 1700. Okay. Hey, John Samuels from Rome. Yeah, so that's just a big tantalum type cap. That's not going to be a problem. So we've got all these little ones hanging off the side here. Again, they're not really a problem. Again, these, like I said, these are 2v5. These ones are messed up, but they're on PP bus. So yeah, the problem is we just don't have enough candidates here that can be blamed. So we've got a few of these corroded. Like, what is that? This is 3v3, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 3v3. And these are badly corroded and they're 0.9. We've got these two. Yeah, it's definitely looking more and more NAND-ish. In which case, there's really no point. Ah, boy. Like even that cap there, you might think, oh yeah, that might be it, but it's not. That's not on 2v5. 2v5 is this one here. And this stuff here, that's just noise decoupling for the current sense. And like I said, these just, they don't short quietly like that. I'm just verifying everything a bit more. That's 3v3. Sadly, I may have to inject to prove the point. Like I said, I'm really not a big fan of doing that, but sometimes you just got to do it. I mean, that could be faulty, but it's very unlikely. It's got a little bit of a taint on it, but it's not a dyed type taint. So yeah, we'll put on the injection and just write it off one way or another. It's not super critical where you put these. Turn off the extractor. So what are we looking at here? We'll start at 1 volt, 1 amp, or thereabouts. Yeah, that's good. And the trouble is the board's going to be pretty hot already, you know, still from all the hot airing and stuff, so we're doing 1/2 a watt coming out of that. That's more than ample to find the short at, yeah, the hot spot usually, assuming it's coming up in a fairly small region. Obviously if it's 1/2 a watt into the interior layers of the board, then you're never going to see that. But if it's one of the NANDs or a cap or something like that on the surface, then yeah, it should show up. Start low, 50 volts, 3 amps. It's a good idea. Might try plug it into the mains, get myself a suicide lead. So you're probably not allowed to say that word on YouTube, are you? But we used to sell them, dreadful thing, but when I was working at Mr. Smith Electronics, we had these particular leads and we'd call them, they weren't really sold as suicide leads, but what they were basically is a mains plug with a lead on them and already stripped on the end. So you had your live, neutral and earth, 3 wires already exposed, ready to go, just plug it into the power point. Okay, alright, let's power it up and see what happens. So we've got 1/2 a watt. So I might have to put the cooling board under there. Got a bit of activity going on there, but yeah, okay, I'll flip the board over and see if anything shows up bright. Nada. This could have gone internal. Fantastic. Alright, for these scenarios where we've got too much heat floating around, stick it on the nice thick bamboo board. Let's realign this. Okay, that's looking like an internal board short. See how the heat is actually coming up around everything rather than through the NANDs? Yeah, so internal board short. So power off. We'll see if it fades away. Now technically, with an internal board short like this, you could theoretically take the NANDs off the T2, the ID ROM or whatever, and migrate to a known working board, but that is outside the scope of what I do. I might push it up a little more, see if I can give me some more definitiveness. What's this? DC repair. I got the USB meter. Do I need to change something in the file? I don't get output on the screen. I can't. What Windows are you running? Does it even detect it and run it? Like show it trying to go through the various COM ports? Put it up to 1.5. 1 watt. In sympathy from Recrane. Thanks a lot for the video. Why do you not inject in the first place? Because this is a situation where there are lower voltage parts in the circuits, we want to sort of take the least potentially damaging routes first. Because there can be times where you've got a short, not necessarily on these particular jobs, but there can be times where you get a short and it's bridging power across from, say, the 2V5 line over to the 0.9 line, and if you inject something incorrectly there, then you could blow whatever's on the... Okay, so it looks like whatever it is predominantly focused about here. There. I wonder if that... Could it be that the one time? It's mostly in the board, though. Anyway, that doesn't feel like it's getting warm. Yeah, so it's more a case of take the minimum risk path first, and then if you find, okay, we've knocked off the parts and it's still not relieving the short, now we have to try and find it. Particularly on a job like this, where the culprits are well known. Windows 11, and does it show up on the actual LCD panel of the USB meter, or do you mean, when you say screen, do you mean PC screen? Yeah, I can't see anything specifically dodgy there. It could be, we can, since this is basically cooked one way or another, we could try and actually dig our way in and find that short, because it is fairly localized. Oh, actually, you know what? That's a big fat no, because I know what's happened. Alright. I'll just get these injectors off. Where that heat is coming up is directly under where the VREG is. So if we go to the schematic, you go to where the VREG is. So the voltage regulator's here, and if we flip to the other side of the board, you see the caps right there. So the shorted internal is in here somewhere. So it could be off like this section here. So I would say most likely this is not going to be recoverable. Yeah, I'm just going to list this as an internal board short. If they want to pursue it further, then they're going to have to go to a more specialist type service provider, and that's going to bump their price up from about the $350 they're paying to something more like 3.5 to 4, 5,000. So you can see why I'm not going to go ahead with anything further. Alright, looks like we'll have to try another one. See what else we got. I think it's a 1932. Choices 1932 or 1706. We'll go 17. Oh no, that's a battery connector. Stuff that. I know what's wrong with the 1706. When it was being inspected by another tech, they had an accident and pulled on the battery connector, the one from the board, a little bit too aggressively, just by accident, and tore it away from the board. So that's really just a case of having to remanufacture the contacts on the board. Promo 2v5 NAND. And of course the other problem is you don't even know whether the NAND's got taken out first during the whole burn-up process. So you may eliminate that 2 ohm short that's in the board. Once you relieve that, then you're probably going to get a 60 ohm short from the NANDs, or a 6 ohm short. It's going to be one of those progressive walls of disappointment. Eek. Which is why I just basically like to go, you know what, technically there's things I could do. Practically, as a business geared up with the equipment that I have, I'm not taking that any further. Oops. I think that's an important thing in business, is you have to know the difference between working for the dollar, which is what I'm doing, versus working for the technical brilliance glory, which is what I'm trying not to do. But you get suckered into that rabbit hole plenty of times, believe me. What are we dealing with here? Unknown fault. Fantastic. Always love an unknown. Hey Adrian Gievil. 1502 repairs now 100 live gigs. Oh, that is fantastic. That's really good. I've got a few 1502s here that have just started to slowly give up, which is kind of sad. But you've got to keep that 1502, don't you? Because it works with your equipment. Or is it the software that you can't migrate to the newer ones, I think? I remember you told me why you had to keep with it. So I apologize for forgetting, but I am glad to hear that it's still going. I'm not sure what might be the next risk factor for you. Does it get a LED near the battery connector? Yeah, that's a good question. Yep. Infinitesimally weak, but I'm pretty sure it is. No. Yep. Yeah. It's got the little itty bitty glow, and we're stuck at 65. Yeah. It's probably going to be dead CPU, no my luck. We've got no jumping around, nothing. Techs in general, yeah, we do like to try and please. We like to try and make people happy. And we take it rather personally when we cannot. But the downside is that it is actually a significant detriment to our own personal finances and time and relationships if we do that. Now, it's fine if you've got someone funding you to do that. Yeah, if you're If someone says, hey, look, we want you to research what causes these failures and how to fix them, don't worry about how long it's taken you, just do the research and find out, then great. But if your bread and butter depends on you getting jobs fixed and not being bogged down, then yeah, it's not such a good thing. Hey, fix your Mac. Could be a bad battery. Guess, yeah. 1932s, they have a bit of a CPU death issue. Same with the 2179s and the 1708s and the 1534s. No change without the battery. I'll put it in a test chassis and see what comes up. Yeah, on stage, that's right. Yeah, you got to have your bread and butter income. Unless, like I said, you've got the unusual advantage of having someone else cover that for you. And for a lot of us, that is not a reality. I was very fortunate that I started to plan to be making flex board view way back. Back when Rossmann first showed up with open board view, things like that. So, I sort of formulated a plan, invested a lot of time into writing the software and getting it ready to commercialize. And it paid off well enough that I was able to at least get a deposit for this house, so I managed to achieve that life goal. But there were a few moments there where it was difficult to see if it was going to pay off or not. Putting a year or so of work unpaid into software with the hope that it might sell, it's a bit of a gamble, but I have done software development for many, many years. We're talking well over 30 years now. So it wasn't completely outside of my normal realm. So I didn't really have too many panic attacks. Too many. And it worked out in the end. But I still have to keep working on it. Like, it's a never-ending thing. Particularly because I don't use a subscription model for my software. What are you stuck down there? Okay, this is interesting. Notice how this is stuck? I can't get it out. Makes me wonder whether there's a cap that's shorted and has burned plastic on the other side. Or it was just stuck. No burn. Yeah, weird. To be fair, Louis Rossmann was key to making that successful. But that was kind of part of the plan as well. I don't think it would have been anywhere near as well received if it hadn't have been the timing that I had with Rossmann. As much as he yelled at it and stuff like that, overall people who did watch his channel on a regular basis were more than aware of the fact that it was just sort of like having a bit of a fun jab. Let's see, first guess for me will be to check 3v8 Aeon. 3v8 Aeon it's an always on rail, and it commonly does die on these machines. And without that, you basically get nothing happening. Nothing visually jumping out at me at this point yet. We'll have a look at it at an angle shortly. Just take a quick check of the speaker amps. They're a very common failure point. For some reason, the speaker caps just love to die. Hey, Thomas McWake. Shouldn't you be manning the Discord channel? Okay, that's not short, that's just got it on the wrong polarity. Okay, that's fine. Can't complain about those. We'll test 3V, sorry, PP bus. Wait. Oh, hang on, this is 1521. Where are you? I've lost the fuse. Ah, there it is. That's embarrassing. No short on the PP, yeah. Yeah, promo, you're not wrong about that. The dead clean boards are always the scary ones because you're like, okay, you're going to suck me down a rabbit hole here, or you're going to, at the very best at least, you might get a cracked cap that you spot from the angle. But even that's getting a little hard. I'm finding I'm getting a lot of high resistance capacitor failures now. Like we're talking in like 20 ohms, things like that. Things that just will not show up on a normal thermal camera. Even when you've got a sort of a blanket over it and everything to try and block out. Okay, so 3V8, 3V8, what? Aeon? Oh, it's the 2179, that's 3V8 Aeon. The only trouble I have with these sometimes is that I get the 1932 and the 2179 mixed up in my head, and so I go chasing rails that just are not there. So what we can actually quickly try and do, just see if we've got a CC1, CC2 issue. And I'm actually going to use a tool that initially I was a bit reluctant to try. It's a bit of a cheat tool. This was given to me by Mr. Liu, yep. I didn't pay for this, it was gifted to me. And what it allows you to do is you just plug this in, and all it does is it just does a diode mode test on all the pins and let you know whether you've got something that's out of range or not. Beyond that, not much else. Do I share schematics? I don't need to share schematics because they are freely available on places like Badcaps, and there is now a very large torrent out there as well, about 200 gigs worth of very new up-to-date stuff. So there's plenty of stuff out there I don't need to share. I'm not legally allowed to distribute it anyway. Okay, so this has, yeah, the 1932, yep. Notice something a little off between two. Okay, it just failed, I can tell because it beeped. Alright, so it's showing me lines 57 to 60. They're not badly off. They're about 30% off. Let's see if I can show it under the camera. Yeah, so we're reading 201 and it's expecting 150. So as you can see, it's not badly off, but it is just enough. And that's 57 to 60. You can probably do the same with the mechanic USB-C meter here. Let's see if we get similar results. The nice thing, at least with my software, is that if you don't have internet connection, it still works fine, and you don't ever lose access to those files and all that sort of stuff. Whereas with the other ones, you've got to log in every time, have an active internet connection, have a paid subscription, all that sort of stuff. It really depends on how you want to work. I guess maybe I'm from an older school of behavior, and I like to own my software, and I like not to have to depend on the internet to have tools work for me. Alright, so we do have some out of whack lines here. Or do we? No, actually, this one reports fairly normal, but that's on one port. We'll try the other port. Come on. There we go. Okay, T-Sing. Alright, so those values are different, not between each other, but rather compared to, say, the other ports. So, we've got 21, 6, whereas the other one was full of a lot more red ones. But yeah, they are balanced across the mirror line. So you flip them over. So that makes me think maybe we've got a busted up CD32 controller. These are Z ones too. Oh, we've got a bad Pi 32. Or we've got blown TVS, although it's gone open circuit, not. Anyway. So we wanted pins 50 whatever. Well, where the hell are these 100 odd? Oh, there's 20V. And that refers to U3200 up here. Aosis, Mysosis. Actually, that makes sense, yeah, because these here, they're the pins like, 59, 60, and refers to that chip there. Now the question is it the CD that's at fault? Or is it something else that's at fault? There's a bit of dust there. Not sure that can be blamed for it. So I guess the question is, do we consider it to be a blown CD3215 and just replace it? Or do we think it's something else? I do wonder whether it's actually the MOSFET, because it's the 20V line that it's been hit with. It might be easiest if I take that MOSFET off and see if the behavior changes. Nia's betting on something else. I mean, whatever it is unique to the port. Particularly too, though, when I did the testing with the fancy tester, it would know that it's dealing with a 1932. So it would know what to expect. Ow! Oh, that hurt. Crunched my thumb knuckle against the wall. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'll plug in the power and I'll do voltage tests and see if any of the LDOs have dropped out, or if there's any abnormalities. Oof. Oh, sorry, thank you. So yeah, I'll do voltage checks with power being applied, see if I get all the LDOs I'm expecting. The mux itself seems fine there. Hopefully it's not the Thunderbolt chip. I hate replacing those for some reason. Sound now? We got a problem with the audio? Something better? What's going on? Or is it just people rambling away? Oh, man, that hurt. Why did I hurt myself? Because I wanted to. Your Discord invite linked on the website doesn't seem to be... Oh yeah, sorry, that's correct. I haven't changed that in a while. There's a reason for that, and I should resolve that. I'm just trying to see, do I have... Weird, I don't have a quad view anymore. Oh, anyway, so this is the chip we're going to be testing, and we're going to go through this sequence here, so like it will guide me to, you know, probe the various areas, and hopefully we will get something. Hey, where's F3001? Oh, there's a mistake there. That's got F3001, it's actually F3010. Small things to fix. Okay, voltage. It'd be funny if it gives us 20 volts now. If it's just my luck, it gives 20 volts. Alright, so first thing is the fuse. We've got 5, so that's fine. And then the next one, we want 3 volts on here. We do. 1V8 on the next one, which is this itty bitty little bugger here. Okay, 1V8, nice and solid. And then 1V8 on another one, different 1V8 rail this time. 1.79, that's more than close enough. Let's see, 1V1, this is a critical one. Without 1V1, okay, we've got 1V1, so Thunderbolt ROMs are good. What about 3V3 RTC? Should be this one here. Okay, it's a smidge low, but it's not bad. That's good. So our rails are all there. That's frustrating. That's a little annoying. You can try another sequence. Yeah, bets on what? Oh, bets on else. It's just interesting that it's only afflicting one side, or at least the values were off on one side. Alright, let's have another inspection of the board. Yeah, maybe we're missing just a smidge of corrosion somewhere. Something dumb. I probably should take the heatsink off, as it's not unusual to have corrosion slip under there. You would think, the heatsink would protect it from stuff, but I've had quite a few instances where you take the heatsink off and some bug has gone and crawled up there and died, or decided to use it as its own private bathroom. Let's check that filter pack, make sure I've got proper continuity between it. Because there are our CC1, CC2 lines. At least I'm pretty sure it should be. It traditionally is. No, it's not. No. Making me look like an idiot here. Oh, well, that's not too hard. Let's see, where are you? CC1, CC2? The CC1 and 2 lines, to be fair, if they drop out, then typically you don't get anything. You won't even get 5 volts. Yeah, they're fine. Hey, user. Alright, we're going to switch to diode mode, and I'm just going to go around and test the various values around here, just to see if anything pops up that looks weird. Are we going for time? We're pushing our time a little bit. Don't really care for the fact that we've already had a failure tonight. I like to be able to finish the evening with at least one kind of success somewhere. Okay, 6, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7. Okay. 6, 5, 5. It doesn't really matter. 7, 5, 7 a little premature, or is that? Oh no, that's good. Yep. It doesn't really matter. 6 on the last one. Yep, that's right. Damn idiots driving on the road. 5, 2. Next one should be 7. Yep. The first digit's about the only thing you should care about with these. Yep. 7, 3, 4. 7, 3, 4. Yep. Okay, and down here we should have 7 and 8. 7. It's 8. It's close enough. These should both be 7s. If I can actually touch it properly. 7, yep. 7, yep. 5. 5 or 6. Yep. 6. Close enough. Gets a bit tedious, but sometimes it's the only thing you feel you can test. Let's see, what do you... That's about right. That's good. Yeah, everything around here is basically showing up as it should. Check to see if it's stuck in DFU mode. You know, I did not do that. And that is a very good point. I'd be very surprised if it is, because shop that sent it to me basically never put any, they never put anything into DFU mode. I do get some other shops that constantly put stuff into DFU mode and then don't tell me. It's like, thanks. I put it in a different chassis just to be sure. No. Well, that was the battery in this one. Oop. What's going on here? I have no idea why I don't have a battery on this one. I should actually take a battery from one of my spare 2179s. Same unit. Of all the batteries for MacBooks, these 1932 2179 batteries, I hate them so much. Incredibly unreliable, bad habit of just dropping dead 6 to 12 months later. Fortunately, I think my Mac machine is alive. Yep. Bring up AC2. You guys won't be able to see any of this, but it doesn't really matter. Ah, bloody hell. Yeah. What mode's it in? You're in recovery or DFU? It's in DFU. Alright, now the question is though, why is it in DFU mode? How did it get there in the first place? These things don't usually just jump into DFU mode on their own. Something gets them there. To be fair, if we take it out, if we try to revive it, and if it does revive, it may actually then lead us to what the fault is. But while it's in DFU mode, it does this whole thing that you've just witnessed where it's just a 5-volt low current doing nothing type business, which leads you down the silly rabbit holes. Are we still online? Yeah. Surprised no one was celebrating the whole DFU call. See if I'll put that on revive and see if it comes up. Hell, it's probably just a bad USB-C port or something. Okay. Let's see, control, advance, revive, downloading system. Oh god. Yep, this is going to take a little while. Oh well. But yeah, if it does come out of the DFU through the revive, still don't know what got it in there. This is where it's difficult if you don't have a history on the device. You know, it just shows up and you're like, well. Oh, just wait. Shouldn't take too long, I hope. I'm trying to think what we can do in the meantime. Not much else. I don't really want to start another machine. It's getting too late. I'm already like 10 minutes over my preferred duration. I think 1 hour, 1 hour 15 is pretty good for a live stream. It doesn't carry on for too long. I need to get my act together and get everything prepared for Harold so that he can start making ring lights and USB-C meters. I do still have stock of them, still of my own, but I need to get around to sending that off to Harold. In the meantime, I'm just cleaning up my desk, waiting. Yeah, the chat's gone silent. Shocked to death, probably. Okay, it's doing a system install now. It's kind of stalled on the system install. I can't see a logo come up yet. No logo. To be fair, at least it hasn't actually quit yet. That doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it'll just sit there, stall for 10 minutes and then come back and say, you know, no success. And if that happens, then I'll put it down to the NAND value or CPU. Sometimes it can be a camera. I haven't found that on these machines, but I have had some devices where the camera ends up being the culprit. When it goes into DFU mode, it's just the device firmware update mode. And it's just saying, well, when you're going to load some new information into me so that I can then resume back to normal activities. But the problem is, why did it go into DFU mode? That's what is unusual. Hey Gabrielle, welcome. Getting to the end of... Whoops. Oh, it was there all along. Oh, wow. That's annoying. And if it does crash, then based on the error code that it gives us, we'll have some idea of... maybe some idea of what is going on internally, and we may just have 2 duds for the night. And this is where it gets tricky. You don't want to spend too much time on these jobs. So like I said, we're an hour and a bit in. We've got 2 duds, which mean, well, I shouldn't say that this is a dud yet, but we've got 1 dud. And if this is a dud, then I'm behind on what I really should be earning for the hour, so to speak. It's very related to the snafu mode, yes. Situation normal, all upped. Oh, so this is taking way too long to do the revive. Yeah, it's amazing how they just do show up when you're not expecting. Like I said, it needs to just... I need to put a screw or a nail or something somewhere on the bench here and make sure it's always resting on that. Yes, normally you have to force it to go into DFU mode. There's a couple of ways of doing it. You can use a key combo while you're booting, or you can actually trigger it on the motherboard by shorting out some pins. But yeah, this is just sitting there in the installing system stage at the same point for way too long now. So I'm anticipating maybe an error 6 or no response from system. Because yeah, it's taken way too long now. It should have done the revive by now. So it sounds like it could be the T2's working okay. Actually, wait, yeah, this got T2, yeah. That part's working okay, but the CPU or the NANDs are shot. Got nothing on display. And it's just sitting there, being patient, being patient. Oh, that's annoying. Hey, sweetie.
Have you already had your shower? I'm guessing not.
No, not yet.
Will you be able to take food out to the wildlings?
Yeah, I'll take food out to the wildlings. Yep. Looking to the iBridge. I haven't. This one, I'm just using a 2015 iMac for this one. For the newer machines, I do have an M series Mac for the 2442 I use. Now I'm just waiting for this thing to give up and give me the error message, and so I can finish up because I'm wasting everybody's time here. So welcome to the end of the stream. We're just slowly waiting to die. Well, we can go over some flex board view things in the meantime. Why ever not? I've been doing a bunch of different updates the last few days. People who are using Flexboard View probably have noticed. Just may as well go over what they are. I'm just trying to resize my screen. Just wait for that. How's that? No, we're missing the title bar. What's that? Almost good enough. Come on, there we go. Why haven't I had my shower yet? Because I haven't finished all my work yet for the night. I don't like to I like to shower as close as possible to me finishing the night. Alright. See, no, that one does. It's hilarious. The features I want to actually show are not showing up now. Come on, Paul, find the board. TV view. Nope. That one's no good. Well, one of the new things, particularly if you're a Windows user or a Mac user, previously if you opened up any folder it would just show you all of the files, but I installed a new file picker and now it limits it just to the board view files, which is probably going to make a few people happy. Certainly it's less annoying than it used to be. So what is this one? Open CAD? No, that one doesn't have it either. The one time I'm trying to find a file that has a particular attribute and I can't find it. Seuss. ASRock. Ah, here we go. Alright. Homeware, yes, I may have heard of these XZZ schematics leakage. Alright, so one thing that used to be a real problem with a lot of these, particularly with the motherboards from PCs and stuff like that, is they would include specifications for their brackets. So you'd have these whopping great big diagonal blockages covering parts of the board. You could mute them out manually, but it'll be a nuisance. Anyway, so I added some code to toggle things. So you can see here it's blanked out the heatsink, and which is down here. Okay. So now I've clicked it again and it's made it visible, and then if I click it one more time it will actually make it active. So this is how it used to be in the old days, and it doesn't seem like a major problem other than visual until you try to click some parts. Sometimes you wouldn't be able to click the parts because it would focus on the bracket. So this one isn't too bad, but others were a bit annoying. And so yeah, this is by default, it blanks them out. it detects it by looking at all the pins and saying if they're all NCs or they're all on the same ground pin, then it's probably a dodgy part, or not a dodgy part, a physical part that we don't really need to see. So if we go part display preferences here, and you can pick the size, like this is in thou, so anything over an inch, if all the pins are NC or they're all ground, it will blank out. But if you need to see it, then you can cycle them back in. Hey, 10-minute. And where it depends on the part, OB data is present on quite a lot of the MacBook boards. So like, I've populated the part values for a lot of them. And that way you don't have to keep jumping back to the schematic to check it. So it's a handy addition, but it's not present on all the boards. Let's see, where are the PCB files? The XZZ ones. I don't know where I'll put them. Samples. This is where I stick all the things that... Yeah, that's one of them. So yeah, I can decode the XZZ files now. That's no problem at all. And there's a very big reason why I can decode them. And some people will know why, and others will not. Okay, we finally got our crash, by the way. The system cannot be restored on this device. Gave up waiting for the device to transition from DFU state to DFU state. And we have a 4042 error. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what 4042 is, but like I said, it's going to be CPU or it's going to be NAND, I'm going to guess. What do you think of the Lenovo Legion 5? I haven't actually seen much on any of those. I don't really get to look at a lot of other stuff. I'm very limited in what I get done because I'm too busy focused on writing decoders for new file formats and stuff like that, so that people can go, did you hear about the XZZ leak? And I can go, yes, actually I did. Alright, I'm going to pop that heatsink off just to see if there's anything indicative under there. But I have a feeling there won't be. But unfortunately, being a 1932, other than if they absolutely have to have data off this, it's just another one to walk away from. Yeah, and we haven't yet actually imported them into... the data's there, but we haven't actually written it. We've been focused on other things. And was this converted? So yeah, we busted our asses for a long time to reverse engineer that file format. And the CPU is not revealing anything in particular. So yeah, not sure what to blame on this one, I'm afraid. It's just one of those ones where I think it is the CPU that just gave up. Or the NANDs have... We could check under here. When you say the board view, are you talking about the XZ, the one that comes with XZZ? Because as far as I know, nobody else is converting the PCBs yet, other than us. Try to restore. Well, restore is possible, but obviously we'll lose the data then. With the XZ files, they do have a section at the end of the file beyond the actual board file itself. They've appended their internal things like values and for diode mode, the components and things like that. It's very erratic information. Some boards have it, some don't. I find the FZ files, like if you find the ASUS FZ files, they tend to be a little more consistent with their values. The latest Flexboard view will pull out the stuff from FZ if it's there. It's actually surprisingly hard to get this sticker off without damaging other parts. I just hate the way it just sullies up everything. You're never going to get that sticker back on properly. Any free tool to convert PCB into board file? No, but you can convert to BVR file, because if you load a PCB into Flexboard view, you'll notice there's a export BVR option. It's like schematic file export to BVR. You can do that, and you've suddenly changed from PCB to BVR, and everybody can read that. Everything looks perfectly intact and clean here. It's really pushing me towards thinking this is CPU death. Even the NANDs look really good condition. How to add outline. What? What do you mean outline? Can BVR3 be opened in board view software? I don't know. Probably not. As far as I know, the developer hasn't added that. Though I've got to ask, why would you want to open in board view when BVR3 is going to be rendered best in Flexboard view? And the information, if you're thinking you're going to get the component values and things like that from the export, you're not going to, because they're not yet processed. Put it this way, Flexboard view is the only thing that can read those PCB files right now properly. And until such time that I get around to actually handling the metadata that's at the end of it, then no one else is probably going to be able to get that. Except unless you're getting it straight out of XZ. If you've got a license of XZZ, then obviously you're going to be able to do it there. Sometimes PCB gets squared, no board outline. What is that with exporting? If you get one of those situations, just send it through to me and let me have a look. If you check the last line on a BVR3 file, typically will be the board outline. It might be maybe some gibberish or a bad export or something like that. So yeah, just notify me, email me with whatever you find. It could be a glitch somewhere and I'll happily fix it up. Board outlines are a funny thing. There's not always a consistent standard to them with the board files. Like some boards you'll get them, some you won't. Some don't make any sense. XEZ's big problem is that they work on a single plane board file, so there's no top and bottom as such. It's all just one kind of map. And so I've got to write an algorithm that can try and split that back to top and bottom sides, and then board views will make a bit more sense. I wrote a few algorithms to sort out their really crappy outlines, this is where it can be fun, where you have a superior program, but by having a superior program, it actually shows up the issues in the files, and people think, oh, it's a crappy program because it looks like it's doing crappy results. But it's actually, it's kind of like, you don't realize how bad the quality of some TV programs are until you watch them in 4K, and you realize, oh my goodness, I can't believe how shonky the quality is. And that's something that is coming up a fair bit with Flexboard viewers, that people are looking at these files and going, hey, that looks dodgy, what's wrong, why isn't it showing it properly? And it's not because it's Flexboard View doing it dodgy, it's just that Flexboard View is actually showing you the data is dodgy. And then I have to go along and write algorithms to try and resolve those shonky bits. Like for one thing with XEZ, they don't actually board fill. Like their outlines are just simply polygon, single, pixel lines. But if you try to board fill them, fill them up like flood fill, then they look, that's when you realize, whoop, nope, they're dodgy. So it's it's a bit of a pain, and that's actually why I did that part hiding thing, because I had people say, oh, board view shows these without any problem. Why is Flexboard View blocking all this stuff and all that? And so, well, it's just because it's showing them up properly rather than just two little dots in a line. So yeah, it's a bit of the 4K problem. Anthony Dean, 50 quid. There I am focusing on a board, and I put my head up and I see this nice big bright pink 50 quid. Thank you very much, Anthony Dean. Very much appreciated. So yeah, I know I sound like I'm griping, and I sort of am. It just sort of gets a little bit disheartening when you create a product that does actually do things a lot better, but because of that, people see the issues, and then they sort of think it's your program that's faulty, as opposed to it's just being fed faulty data, and now it's like demonstrating to you, well, this data's not so crash hot. And then you get, oh, you need to fix this up because this isn't quite right. You haven't done this properly, and it's like, actually, it is done properly. In fact, it's better than properly, and that's why you're seeing it that way. But that is part of being a software developer. You can't take these things explicitly to heart. You do feel it. You get upset about it every now and then, but at the end of the day, you just simply go, well, I'm either going to sit here and cry about it, or I'm actually going to try and see if I can work a way around it. And that's what you end up doing a lot of the time, is you work your way around these kind of issues that come up, even though people are saying that it's your faulty software. When people lay blame at you for something that isn't your fault, I guess that's what hurts, particularly when you've been putting so much effort into trying to bring this stuff to the world. Like before we put the effort in to decode this file format, nobody had access to any of these files, and now all of a sudden we can all get to it. So it's a little bit disheartening, that's all. Ah, boy. And of course, there's the free version, and the license is cheap, and it's perpetual, like it doesn't expire on you. I mean, sure, you've got to pay if you want to go up to the next major version, but major versions at this rate are about every 3 to 4 years. And it doesn't snoop on your on your system. It doesn't demand that you be on the internet. The only internet transactions that occur is, of course, it checks to see, is there a new version? That's it. Yeah, it's So watching you through Futo's GigJ. I don't know why I said GigJ. GreyJ. The lamb. Anyway, I'm not talking about anyone specifically tonight. I'm just sort of talking about the cumulative kind of things that have been happening the last sort of couple of months. I guess you get this anticipation in your mind when you make a major breakthrough like we did, and you think people are going to be happy. But funnily enough, it rarely works out like that. Trying to refine software is trying to make a perfectly round circle using square blocks. So the bigger you make that, the more jagged surface area there is, and the more features you add, the more areas in which people are going to find that they want to have an improvement or they want to have a new feature. So features beget features. It's just the way it goes. As you expand your customer base or the type of people who will use it, they're always going to be at the fence line of where your software is and going, I'd like to go a little bit further, or it's just the nature of it, And if you can't handle that with software development, then you shouldn't be in software development or walk away from the project. Any news about 3217 firmware flashing? Try see if Maroto knows anything about it. I don't do anything with that. Like I said, most of my research work is with file board formats, board view formats, and just trying to make sure that everybody can get access to these things, because right now it used to be that the companies were our problem, in the sense of we couldn't get the data files from the companies, we couldn't get the board views from the companies, but clearly those board views are getting leaked quite a lot. And then what started happening, or what has happened, is that instead of them being leaked to the public in general like it used to be, they now get leaked to a particular bidder. And then even if you try to bid into that game, you don't have the right money, you're not the right person, you're in the wrong country, things like that. And so then basically we have become kind of like the pirates of the pirates. We're stealing from the pirates, as it were, rather than from Apple or Lenovo or anything like that. So the board views and schematics are being held up by a new gatekeeper, as it were. So I'm doing some research with SWD and trying to avoid having to buy a Sega J-Link. I don't even know what SWD is. Yeah. Alright, anyway, that's it for me for tonight, and just rewrite the software tonight. Oh yeah, good on you, Jason, that's great. Thank you very much again, Anthony Dean. I'm sorry that we're sort of cutting this short after your contribution there, but 50 quid, the colour's good too. I like the colour. I know, pink and stuff like that, but it looks very nice and lively. You can see around me, most of the stuff is quite drab. And in fact, I discussed with my wife, we discuss quite frequently, how our house and our clothes and all, we have become we're just becoming grey. And so we need more colour in our lives. But it gets a little bit tricky trying to find colour that you're willing to have around. So every now and then you get a bit of a bright spot, and that's always good to see. Alright. Thank you all. Thank you, Paul. And by the way, Paul Howe, sorry if I didn't catch you earlier. And hopefully more live streams on the main channel in future. So sorry we did the YouTube experiment for 6 months there. We just had to try something. Didn't quite work it out. But we're back now. Hopefully everybody will be happy. I'm out of here. You all take care. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.